I'm just going to go ahead and start to welcome our lovely, fabulous, and hilarious guest, Melissa Shoshahi. What's up, girl?
Hi, how are you? How you
Thank
doing,
you.
Iman? So
Good,
good to
good. That was
virtually
funny.
meet you.
I know. For those who don't know, this is literally my first time having any kind of interaction with Melissa from a video standpoint. She was gracious enough to accept an invitation from a weirdo she's never met before. So thank you so much for this opportunity.
Well, yeah, I mean, everybody's meeting people virtually
Uh,
this
that-
whole year. So very normal. And you're probably not weird. We're
that's
all
true.
weird in a
So,
little way. You guys just saw the weirdest video. I'm so sorry.
you
If
know,
anything, I'm the weirdest person.
hey, we love weird up in here. We all have a little bit of quirkiness and weirdness, so I like it when I meet another weird person. Here's my question to you. I have this
Yeah.
feeling that like you didn't really have to act in that video, and I don't mean any disrespect. I just feel like addition, besides the little accent that you add, I feel like that's just you being super fun, and then like you had somebody, a friend, just capturing it, and you're like, let's go ahead and put it up. Like that's what I felt when I saw it, and that's what I love about your comedy is the fact that you just bring this funniness out of it. But was that kind of like super planned?
No, that was not planned at all. There was no editing, there was no gimmicks, there was nothing. It was just, I think I was drinking that whole day. Um, you know, some of my stuff, like some things I'll work so hard on and I'll edit it and there'll be a green screen and nobody will watch it. And then there'll be some like I just film out of doing no work and it'll get way more views. I can't figure out social media
What
yet.
works and what doesn't? First of all,
I
it must
really
have
can't
been
figure it out.
it must have been just so great to just be out and about and getting some fresh air.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, luckily the swan wasn't wearing a mask. I mean, everything is kind of opening up.
Did the fly that went in your mouth, was that planned? I feel like that was so natural too. I was like, I think that just came at a perfect time and hit you right in the face.
Yeah,
It was
it's because
fun.
I don't shower, Iman.
Oh, okay. Of course, yes. You
Yeah,
you you attract bugs and flies.
yeah.
It's okay. So I'm not the only one.
You're not the
Um,
only.
so yeah. So listen, tell me about. And I was talking to Nima Nas from Toronto, which you may.
Oh, I love him. He's so
He
funny.
is great, and I was even telling because I was asking him as well, just like I did you. We're like, hey, hey, would you mind doing like a nice comedic set? Like we need some comedic relief in our 24 hours of streaming, and then just like Maz, just like Nima. Or just like you, Nima was also saying that, hey, I prefer not to do like a set. Can we just kind of talk about it? And like, I got his perspective, and I'd love to kind of get your perspective. Did you kind of try to do the whole stand-up comedy through Zoom during the pandemic, and then you're like, you know what, forget about it. This is just, it's not the same not having guests and just kind of sticking to creating content? Or did you not even do it from the beginning because you're like, no, I need to get back on stage before I do it? So how have you gone through this pandemic?
Yes, that's a really great question. So I've done a lot of Zoom stand-up shows, and it's set for the audience to know that, hey, this is going to be a lineup of a comedy show. But then it's really weird as a comedian to come on a program and then all of a sudden they're like, okay, can you tell a couple jokes now? It just doesn't work well. It's
True.
not the right environment. It's almost like when you go to somebody's house and they're like, oh, can you tell a joke now? You're not prepared for it. It feels really weird. And
Yeah.
then it almost makes you feel like you have to be on the spot funny.
Yeah.
Where when you do talk to Maz or Nima, we're not always funny,
Hmm.
we're
Hmm.
just normal people. And then so for me, for example, if I'm going to do a performance, I have to get in that right mindset,
Right.
because it's a performance for me, versus
Sure.
my personality is a little bit different than when I'm on stage doing a performance, doing a set. So
And
that's
actually,
probably why.
yeah, no, I mean that actually makes complete sense. But do you kind of like need to still sharpen those tools that you have from a comedian standpoint? Like, how do you do that? That if you don't do it on Zoom, and obviously we don't have like the stages, are you just around family trying out new material? Like, where do you kind of where do you practice?
No, we do have some specific, like I said, there are some specific comedy shows for Zoom, but then when
Oh, okay.
it depends. And we don't, so there's a bunch of random stuff that you can practice online. And you know what's really weird? There's Clubhouse now where you can work some material out too with fellow comedians.
Yeah,
So there's many different platforms that you can still do stand-up in. And then I've actually been doing, during quarantine, I've been doing corporate events via Zoom for companies. So for the holidays, I've been doing some of that. And so I'll do half an hour and I'll set it up and I'll have a whole show for them, you know, where it's just dedicated for that.
And is that like interactive, or is that you go in with a set and like you kind of just run that whole show from start to finish yourself?
Because it's Zoom, it always ends up being interactive, but I start with a set. Yeah. And then there's always like 10 people that just want to talk after every joke you say. And it's weird. It's just so weird. But I guess we just have to get used to it.
Yeah, were you doing a lot of like these skits, like the green screen skits that you've been doing a lot lately? Were you doing those pre-pandemic too, or like not at all, or just a little, or not, and now you just kind of ramped up on them?
I wasn't doing any of that. I was before the pandemic, I was traveling so much. So I was going to different cities. I was performing every night. I was doing some random show. I didn't have the time to do, you know, creating content, and I wasn't on TikTok. I started TikTok during the pandemic. So so when the pandemic hit and I had more time on my hands, I was able to do things that I actually always wanted to do. So in a sense, I'm still, you know, getting my creativity out in one form instead of just doing it on stage. So I'm letting it out in a different way.
Do you like do you constantly just write new jokes up and like new pieces? Like do you actually allocate certain amount of hours per day where you kind of go into your office and you just kind of come up with a bunch of things? Like what inspires you? Or is life around you and the world around you all inspiration?
Yeah, I mean, I can't tell you what my process really is. It's just whatever I see or think or hear, I'll write it down. And then if I have all the ideas, I'll jot it down. And then I'll say, I want to make a video about this, 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 and this. And I'll try to make a goal to do all those in that month. So that's kind of the way I work. I always have to write things down. Otherwise, I won't do it. Yeah.
That's good. Yeah, you're one of those people. I feel like the younger generation are very much back to writing stuff. Like I kind of gave up on that like 10, 15 years ago, but like all my younger employees and stuff, they're all just having notebook in hand and writing. I guess through school they're teaching them that, you know, have a book and a piece of paper so they don't lose that skill set, you know.
Yeah.
So it's being kind of taught. I want to get your opinion about this whole like being an Iranian and like a comedian thing, but in a sense that, or female Iranian. And like, do you even like think about that? Do you kind of like look at yourself as like one of the trailblazers in this whole thing? Or are you just like saying that's just a byproduct? I'm a comedian first, and it just happens to be like I'm Iranian and I'm a female. Like, do you actively think about it and try to just kind of double down on that, or not really?
I mean, I always think I'm a comedian first, but also there isn't that many Iranian female comedians. So
Exactly.
it's cool if I can, you know, in any way be a trailblazer.
So before we got interrupted, unfortunately, and fingers crossed that it won't happen again in our set, you were talking about all these up and coming like content creators, and I was just wondering, like, do you think that social media will actually lead to more Iranian females, you know, coming up, or even just male comedians? I mean, forever it's been Maz and Max and Tehran and a couple other people, like. And I'm like, man, I know Persians aren't all that funny, but we should have more male representation in the comedic field, and definitely in the female Iranians, we should have a lot more as well. So, do you think that social media is going to kind of help with that?
I think so, 100%. 100%. I mean, I've seen some funny people, and what's really cool is I've through the, you know, the Persian memes.
Yes.
Instagram.
Yeah.
You know, I've learned about so many funny people through there, you know. So I think it's definitely, I think Iranians are funny in general. You know, how can we not be? It's just a matter of really having the courage to put yourself out there. That's all it really is.
Do
My
you,
grandpa is the funniest person I know, but is he gonna,
oh,
start a YouTube channel? No.
well, maybe the two of
So
you can, there's nothing funny than a
that would
Persian
be
Bubba.
hilarious. Yeah.
Do you have like one or two people like on social media, like up and coming people that like you're kind of like you dig them and you kind of enjoy their content?
Oh my gosh, I love, love, love. Her name is Athena, and if
Is that
she has,
Mahmoud?
yes,
Oh, she is
she,
hilarious. Yeah.
but her real name is Athena. I just learned that.
Right,
But
right.
I was like, can I call you Mahbube? She's like, no, it's Athena.
I mean, I think she's pigeonholed it
She
herself,
is
with Matt.
so funny. I cry at her videos, and I love her so much that I'm going to be doing an Instagram live with her in 3 hours.
Nice,
So if any of you
nice.
guys want to hop onto my Instagram, I'm going to be talking with her.
I love
Um,
that. Yeah,
so,
take my people away. Thanks, Melissa. I appreciate it. No, I'm just
oh yeah,
joking.
oh yeah. I'm sorry. Yours is the
No,
24 hour.
I'm just
Yours
kidding.
is
I'm
the.
just kidding.
But you know what? No, don't worry about that because I'm always doing lives on my Instagram. So feel free to follow me
Yeah,
at Mel Shoshahi. And
of course.
my actually goal is I just started, I want to do once a week, kind of interacting with some of the artists as well on my
Beautiful.
life, kind of like what you're doing.
Yeah, no,
Um,
I mean, I highly recommend that. I mean, you can do it in your field with all the content creators from like
that's what I'm
the
doing. Yeah,
comedic
yeah, yeah.
segment. I mean, because and this is really the whole point of this whole Ready to Work Stream-a-thon is the fact that this is not just about me or my team. The whole beauty of the fact is the thing is that all of us, whether it's you or I, we're in the same umbrella industry. We're here to entertain. We just do it in different ways: comedy, events, wedding, all the same stuff. And really, it's to support you too. And like every single one of our guests, no matter where we are in our I guess brand or popularity, we can always still get more. We can reach out to more people. There's so many amazing talents that other people don't know about. I'm like even Mahbube, like people need to get to know her, so she needs to be on all these people's Instagrams and lives. And there's some people who don't know you yet, and they should get to know people like you guys and to support you more. So Mel Shoshahi is obviously your Instagram. Tell us all the handles of everywhere else that you put out content.
Yeah, so Instagram is just Mel Shoshahi, Shoshahi. And then TikTok, it's Melissa Shoshahi. And yeah, that's it. I mean, I post as much as I can. And I'm always open to suggestions too.
Yeah, no, of course. So we're approaching pretty much 1 year, like until like since the pandemic kind of started. And when you kind of reflect now in the past 12 months, is there like a silver lining? Is there something that you kind of like take away and you're like, man, you know what? Amidst all that we kind of went through, I'm so grateful of this, because it has opened doors to like this, and that. So kind of how have you viewed the past 12 months?
Honestly, I was so busy grinding and hustling and doing this, driving here, flying here. You really don't have too much time to reflect on a lot of things. And I'm sure a lot of you may resonate with this, but it gave me time to slow down and
Hmm.
process the important things I like and reconnect with things I never really got to do before, so like
Right.
meditate or eat better and work out every day and just doing things that I just really really never had a chance to do. So I'm kind of grateful for that.
What do you kind of see in the next couple of years? Do you think you're going to be going down, well, when things open up? Is it more stand-up comedy that you would love to do fully, or do you think it's more like the creating of content, the unique stuff that you've been making, or is the future of how you guys do things a fusion of both? Meaning, like you're going to have to do stand-up comedy, but on social media itself, especially because you don't want to put out all of your content that you're going to be doing as a stand-up comedian. You're going to have to do more of like these like skits and stuff. How are you seeing the next couple of years as far as your career is concerned?
I think everybody's process is a little bit different, but I think it's going to have to be a hybrid of both.
Hmm.
I think after the pandemic is over, everybody is going to go to live events. So I think definitely stand-up comedy will for sure happen. But also, we're living in such a crazy world of technology that everybody wants content. And that is a great way for people to find who you are. And through that, they'll come to your shows
Hmm.
regardless. So they'll find you. So it's a win-win.
I love that. Well, I mean, I really hope that opportunity exists for us to kind of collaborate together in real life, in real person, to have you continue to share your craft and your funny bone with more people. And hopefully it happens in Miami so you can come make it a
Yes.
nice vacation
Invite
and
us. Make some
enjoy the beach.
kebab.
Yeah, make some kebab. Actually, there's a place over here called Shaw's of Kebab. I'm giving
Oh
them a nice
yeah.
plug over here, and they're actually pretty good for. I mean, because Miami doesn't have that many Persian options as far. It's not like Westwood, you know. And
Right.
you're gonna enjoy some good kubide. My mom calls it the best kubide since Nayab restaurant, which was like 40 years ago in
Well, if
Iran.
your mom calls it the best kubi day, it's probably the best
Yeah,
kubi day
no,
ever. Shahs of kebab.
Shahs of Kebab. It's a pretty funny and entertaining name.
Yeah.
Well, listen, I really appreciate you taking time out of your schedule, and it's nice meeting you actually.
You
And I hope that you continue to make the world laugh and keep on being a trailblazer that you are. And I hope that you encourage other females to go down this path and represent the funny females that are Iranian much more in the future. So appreciate you and all the best to you.
Thank you so much, Iman. Thank you. And thank you, everybody. Stay safe.
Thank you, hon. Take care. Shab bakhair. You too. Bye.
Bye, everybody.
Oh man, she's so cool. I can't wait to. I'm like thinking about bringing people to freaking Miami and just do a stand-up comedy show. If you're in Florida, can you let me know? I would love to hear if there's an interest in getting some comedians to come to Miami and have good laughs, good drinks, and maybe even like a beach day, you know?